Yes, right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grant, and we'll be going through a unit through transport and logistics. It's quite a hefty unit, but we're only sort of chunking it down. I'm only going to go through points 1.2, and that's just with the chain of responsibility, just a basic knowledge of what chain of responsibility is and how it affects supply chain. So it's not the in-depth unit of competency. It's really just one portion of it, and it's only just broken down because it's really basic and really easy to get your head around. So the outcome of the session is to understand the principal duties that each party in the chain of responsibility, as outlined by the National Heavy Vehicle legislation and regulations, or applicable state, territory law and regulations are explained. Now that sounds really hectic, but the basic core of it is quite simple. It's about just understanding what each part of the chain is and who has responsibility within that chain. This is sourced from the Unit of Competency on Transport Logistics, Workplace Documents and National Heavy Vehicle Laws. So we'll start with a quick safety introduction. So we've got an exit door here. If we need it, we've got another exit door there. Toilets are through that door and around the corner. We've got a kitchen in here if you need a drink of water or to wash your face or hands or whatever you need to do. Just be careful of the cords as you walk around, and any chairs that are out of location. First aid kits in the kitchen. That's pretty much it. Everyone ready to get into it? You've got a handout in front of you. To start with, do we have any volunteers to read, say, a paragraph or so each?
Yep.
Vanessa?
Yep. What is chain of responsibility? Drivers and operators have traditionally been the focus of road laws. However, breaches are often caused by the actions of others. Under chain of responsibility, COR, complying with transport law is a shared responsibility, and all parties in the road transport supply chain are responsible for preventing breaches. This approach recognises the effects of the actions, inactions and demands of off-the-road parties in the transport chain.
Anybody else want to pick up from there?
Anybody, not just the driver, who has control over the transport task, can be held responsible for breaches of road laws and may be legally liable. Chain of response is similar to the legal concept of duty of care that underpins occupational health and safety law. This approach has long been used by the courts to impose liability in negligence and damage claims. Alana.
All parties in the supply chain, consignor, dispatcher, packer, loader, scheduler, consignee, receiver, manager, as well as the driver and operator, must take all reasonable steps to prevent breaches of the road transport mass, dimension, loading, speed compliance and work hours laws.
Penalties and sanctions range from formal warnings to court-imposed fines and penalties relating to the commercial benefit derived from offences. Supervisory intervention orders and prohibition orders banning individuals from the industry can be applied to persistent or systematic offenders.
Okay, so in summary of all of those 4 paragraphs, we have the chain of responsibility, and then within that chain of responsibility, there are many links. I'm just going to draw arrows for now, just for the sake of the exercise. So we have, the co-signer. So essentially that is the person that, or organisation, that wants something delivered. They're the customer. So they have a responsibility in the chain of responsibility not to put too much pressure on drivers, on companies to get stuff there quick. Because to do that, the driver then has to break the speed rules, the driver has to break a lot of laws to get it there within their specific time frame. So within the chain of responsibility, the legislation, the consignor is a part of that. Then you've got the packer, who, the business packs the product. His responsibility is to ensure that the product is packed and stable for transport, that it's not going to fall over during transport. So their responsibility is to make sure that what they are packing is fit for purpose and fit for transport. We have the loader, so the forklift driver, loading the forklift. His responsibilities can entail making sure that the load that's going on the truck's not too heavy for the truck, it's not too heavy for the road, that everything within the weights on the trailer, so the actual weights aren't too high because he's put too much weight at the back of the trailer. So he has to, when he's loading, take that into account and make sure that he's evenly distributing the weight. And then we have loading, loader, so yeah, scheduler. So when, you know, the office guys or girls, when they schedule the truck, they need to make sure that that truck is fit for that load. You know, there's no point bringing in a 20-ton truck when you only need 5 tonne of product sent, and vice versa. You know, if you're bringing a 5-ton truck, you need 20 tonne of product sent. So, and they also determine lead times and stuff like that. So the time it takes to be loaded to get to the customer, and making sure that then again the driver is not influenced by short time frames or having to rush. And then obviously you have the driver. He's influenced by, you know, he has his fatigue management, he has the road laws he has to follow. There are a load restraint guides. You know, he's got to go through weigh bridges at, for example, Marulan, and he has to make sure that when he gets there and they open the curtains that the load's not going to be falling over, so he needs to make sure he straps everything down properly, checks everything. The vehicle is road registerable and not defectable because it's got a blinker out or his brake light smashed, or they still play the pivotal role, but in the old days it was driver. He was blamed for anything and everything. If there's a crash, the driver was the first one to get blamed. Now, with this whole chain of responsibility, if the driver crashes the truck, his logbooks are in effect, everything's all well and good, everything seems legit, his truck was roadworthy. Why did he crash? Was it fatigue? Did the packer put was there the weights different on the pallets? Did the loader not load the truck right? Was the scheduler putting too much pressure on the driver by having a short time frame? Was the co-signer ringing the driver going, hurry up, I need it here? For example, you know, turf, if he's bringing turf on site and they've got guys standing around waiting for turf and they're ringing going, come on, we need you here now. The driver's going to be, to meet his deadline, he's going to speed, he's going to go through a red light, he's going to, you know, and all sorts of things can happen. So the whole purpose of chain of responsibility is to take the onus off the driver and to put blame where the blame needs to be. And with that comes fines, comes repercussions, and that's all regulated now by the National Heavy Vehicle legislation, which was brought in 2007, modified in 2011, and we're going through another modification process now just to make sure that everything's stringent enough. There have been companies that are shut down. Scott's was shut down, and they were actually fined $30 million. Because, you know, the 457 visa drivers that didn't know anything about the road rules.
That's been on the news.
Yeah. And then with the petrol tanker that crashed in Sydney, like they went right through that, and a lot of that came out. There's now a form in chain of responsibility where the loader, he has to now check the vehicle for road registry for it to be road worthy.
Yeah.
So he checks for lights, he checks for bald tyres, just while he's loading it. And you know, in terms of if we, for example, Sunrise, seen a truck that had a couple of bald tyres, broken mirror, if we load that truck and send it out on the road, we are liable.
Okay.
So it puts back into onus the fact that we can say, no, we are not going to load you, and bring us a truck that's fit for purpose. I do have some more information on the next couple of sheets, which essentially just goes into a little bit more detail about each. I've essentially just sort of drifted over the top of it. If you would like to go through that, we can go through that. We can take a couple of minutes to go through that. It's only information, or we can go around and read a paragraph out loud again if we prefer to do that. But that's typically, you're not going to get any more information, say, out of that than I've just explained on the board. So, you know, that's for you to take home and that's for you to look through. So, one thing I do need to clarify is that the chain of responsibility is only relevant to vehicles that weigh over 4.5 tonne. So if you go to Thrifty Link and you hire a removalist truck, the heavy vehicle and chain of responsibility doesn't apply. And it doesn't apply to utes, tradie utes and stuff like that in New South Wales. In WA, it covers everything from a motorcycle up.
So what if you were driving from New South Wales to WA?
You'd be liable under their chain of responsibility laws.
Okay, so just the fact that you're driving in there, driving in WA,
Yep.
would you come under that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you get pulled over, like for example, in a ute, you're carrying, you know, sandbags,
Yep.
and the load's not covered or strapped down,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can be liable for that.
Wow, if that's okay, yeah. Wow.
Even though it's already in New South Wales.
Yeah.
So the whole point of the whole review now that's going on at the moment is to try and balance out the laws and trying to make them the same in each state. Obviously, some states are stricter than other states, but they've got to weigh up the cost and the logistics of having, you know, the same rules apply. So don't want to try and make every state the same because state to state, territory to territory, they're all different laws. But they're well on the way to start now.
That's the same with registration. They used to, some trucks that register their trucks in Queensland because it'd be cheaper.
Yep.
Or they can do interstate, but now they're trying to bring it in, that it's all, they just register in their state.
Yeah, and the same, and that's what I've brought out interstate licenses as well. You know, there's a lot of companies that based in Queensland or based in Victoria.
Yeah.
So the trucks are only registered in Victoria, yet they probably only see Victoria, you know,
Yeah,
once a month, for example.
you only got to have an address up there.
Yeah. Well, if that's the address of the head office, that's where all the paperwork goes, that's where they pay the registration from.
Yeah.
That is pretty close to everything that I've got. I did have some questions to ask, but I can't think of them. I should have written them down. So has anybody got any questions about that? Was that fairly straightforward? Is there anything that you didn't understand or was hard to get around? So overall, this is a very broad topic, and it's quite a hefty. And this is a core subject in the transport and logistics industry. Purely, we know why. But it's a pretty important topic. And this is just, you know, one point in the whole unit of competency. So I figured this was, you know, just an easy way to sort of wet the feet and get an understanding of the chain of responsibility. Obviously, it goes into way more depth than that, but this is just a basic overview.
So not just transport companies, but every one of those, like, would have to undergo training in chain of responsibility.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyone that packs vehicles, the schedulers,
Anyone
that has anything to do with transport.
Anyone from the salesperson to the person, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So if for example I ring you and say, you know, I need 400 square feet of grass here by Friday.
Yep.
And so you're the salesperson and you go, yep, I can promise that, you know, purely because you're based on your motivations to get the sales and all that sort of stuff. Logistically, that puts a lot of pressure on the packer, puts a lot of pressure on the loader, puts a lot of pressure on the driver. So in accepting that order and without taking into account any internal lead times or anything like that, that salesperson can then get in trouble and fined for breach of chain of responsibility.
Wow.
And see those cameras, they changed everything too, because drivers used to be able to do
Yeah, well, that's right, yeah.
absolutely.
longer hours
Yep.
and budget up their logbook,
Yep.
and now they can't. Yeah,
Some of them actually have GPS trackers in their truck too.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them nowadays. Like we can, for example, we can ring Patrick and say, what's an ETA on your
Yeah.
truck, and they can go, well, is that Hamwood? You should be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they've just got to look on the computer.
Yeah.
So that's a basic overview of the chain of responsibility. Yeah, like I said, it goes into a lot more depth than that, but I hope that gave you a good oversight of a topic that not a lot of people know about. So,
Good.
thank you very much.
Well done.